Hey guys, today I'm gonna talk about the CHEVY C-Series and K-Series, GMC C-Series and CK Series, and this covered to from 1996 to 2007 and all GM products. That includes Buick, Cadillacs, Isuzu and Pontiacs. Now what I'm going to talk about here is cranks okay, no spark. Okay, so I'm going to use the demo in my scanner to go to something that you gotta look for. It's a 2001 demo Chevrolet Tahoe four-wheel drive 5.3 V8. You're gonna go to engine, Nokey require on this one, and we're gonna go to troubleshooting, and we're gonna go to engine, and we're gonna go to symptom tips and starting problems. No start, no spark. By the way, I'm using my Snap On Verus, and as you can see, it says hook up a spark tester, and they give you the part number. Crank the engine for spark. Always check more than one cylinder. That is to give you out, you know, it's not a bad wire. So you gotta test more than one cylinder. So when you verify it's no spark, then it tells you there is no spark in all cylinders. They check the RPM signal during cranking. That is very important, guys. That is a good tip from Snap On. So what you gotta do there is get out of this page, go back, and you're gonna go back one more time, engine and code tip, symptom test. No, we don't. We need data, display data, okay? Main menu, and we need data. Then you go to engine data, I prefer custom. This is what you're looking for, the engine speed RPMs. I go to custom, deselect all, and select engine RPMs. You can select another one if you which we can put TPS, because if the TPS is all the way down to the floor, the engine, well, that cut the injectors. But let's say the TPS position ignition signal voltage 1, that will be nice to have. And view selected. Okay, when you crank the engine, you see this car is a demo, so it's running. So why this is crazy like that? You gotta snap the throttle so that goes, you know. But that will be a very bad RPMs there. So when you crank the engine, this number here should be like 200, 300, 175, 174. If you see number changes here and in that area there, when you're cranking, then your crank position sensor is sending the signal to the ECM or PCM, and you know your crank sensor is good. So if you don't see no changes in number here, so suspect that the crank sensor is bad. But that is one way to do it. And the reason for this video is because I'm gonna go to the schematic I make for explain it better and go from there. But let me go exit out of this, and I want to show you because the new Snap On tools, they don't have this. The new Snap On tools, they don't got what you see that. That is made by GM, and that is the new Snap On tools. They don't have that. The old software have it. So you see this cover all the engines here, and if you go down here, let me put it a little bigger so you can see. Imagine you're in the field and you don't got no internet. This feature here is very good to have. You see that here? Schematics. View, rotate, clockwise. That's your schematic there, boys. And it tells you how the system works by the VIN number in the car and what kind of car you're working on. And it tells you, you know, the schematic, everything, color wire, very good information to have when you don't got no internet and connect. And this is all download and that software. The new product from Snap On, they don't have that no more. Okay, they want you to go online, go to Key, Michelin Demand, and find out the schematics. They taking out of this, and this is good to have. That's why I let my scanner, I think I got it to 12.4. That is my update there. And the new scanner, they take all that information out. So let me go to the schematic that I make and go from there and explain better what I'm trying to say to you guys. Okay guys, 96 to 2007 Chevy C-K Series GMC Series C-K. Symptoms: cranks okay, no start, VIN X. In this particular model, I did the schematic with a VIN X and a 4.3 liter, but never mind of that, because this can be an A cylinder, can be any GM products. How do you pick up which is the problem with the car? Is immediately you see this setup when you got the igniter next to the coil. In the case in the car, the coil is gonna be first in the back of the engine. The igniter is gonna be next to the coil in the front. Over here I did it like this for comfortable to make the schematic. Here I make a battery here, so you know the polarity in the battery when you do a test here. Here in this section you got the ICM connector, that is the Ignition Control Module or igniter connector, that is over here, and view harness side back probing, that will be back probing the harness. And actually the connector is the same way that you see it here, connected to the igniter, and the coil will be in the top of the coil. That will be in the top of the coil here, and this is the connector for the coil. As you can see, B is not used. You got 3 terminals in the connector and the coil, but the B is not used. We can get back to that later. Now, in the ICM connector, you got A, B, C, D, and the D is the coil driver control. Okay, that is the one who fires the coil. Okay, so the situation I make this schematic is because they've been calling me for fixing a truck that say that it was anti-theft problem with the truck, and they've been changing crank position sensor, cam position sensor, they changed the igniter, they changed the coils, spark plug and wires, they changed it because they want to continue changing parts there. The rotor and the distributor. Now that I'm talking about distributor, this is a distributor setup. This car have a distributor. The cam sensor in this particular setup is in the distributor. Okay, so the crank sensor is by the harmonic balance and the engine in the front, and the cam sensor is inside the distributor. Well, when I get to the place to check the car and I see this setup, immediately I know what is wrong with the car. Immediately I know that the car don't have anti-theft problem, but I take my IM 600. Hold on a second, guys. I take this tool with me, IM 600. As you can see, is a professional programming tool. Not that you need it in GMs that much in that year, but I take it to me to check the anti-theft system. And after I put my scanner and that scanner, I use Diagnostics and I check I don't got no codes related with anti-theft. And then my next step is what Snap On recommend: check for your RPMs when you crank the engine. I check that passed the test. Then my next step, and I know because this is the 3rd time in this year that I have this same situation, and what I did, this is what I did, guys. First, I use my Power Pro and I check. Remember, all these parts are new. This is new, this is new, crank sensor is new, cam sensor is new. This is like 20 minutes now working in the car, you know, by, you know, like putting the scanner in and checking RPMs, and that passed the test. I pull out my Power Pro and I disconnect I disconnect this connector and I disconnect this connector, and I check my continuity from the D to the C in my Power Pro, and it was open. Okay, so what I did, I take this with a T-pin, these two guys with a T-pin, and I jump this wire here with this wire there, and the car start right away. Engine running right away. So we got it open, and this white and black, or white. That's why this wire covers so many years that you got to be careful. So all you got to identify is the driver wire that fires the coil, and make sure it's continuity from here to here. If it is not continuity, but then this is a test light, you can buy this in Advance Auto. It's like $16, and it's computer safe, and it turns green and red when you touch the terminals. Right now I got a negative. If I got my switching on and I touch this guy, this will light up red in my test light. Now I change in polarity to positive, and when I touch this wire, when it's cranking, it should flash, because it's telling me the wire integrity from here is good. But we don't know that the wire integrity from here to here is good. So if you don't got flashing here, so a technician will say, oh, that is a bad igniter. Okay? No, so if you don't flashing here, go over here. If you flash here and you don't flash here, that means your wire is open. Okay? So you got to be careful when you troubleshoot these things, because the third time in this same year, I got this same situation with a broken wire from the igniter to the coil. Okay, so this is what you got to test when you are using a test light, a regular test light. You got to, when somebody cranking here, this should be flashing. That coil driver control, it grounds the coil to fire the coil. Remember, you got positive here. This is not used. So you got to be careful with that. Now you got to make sure you got power here. With this is pink wire goes to the fuse on the underhood junction block, and the fuse, like in this year 2007 being X 4.3, is INJ2 fuse 15 amps. You got to make sure that fuse is good. Also, you got to make sure you got power, and the igniter is the ignition, the 8, that will be the top wire. That's your top wire. I put it here, 8 ignition voltage pink, and with that you screw out by changing parts, if necessary changing parts. And this particular car, they changed like $500 in part, and all it was an open wire from the beginning. That wire was broken. It's not the first time, like I say, guys. It happens 3 times in this year. So something is happening with the harness and GM between this guy and that guy, and you see it's a continuous wire. You just connect the 2 plugs, and the black and white, you gotta check for continuity from here to here. If you don't got no continuity, you gotta open wire, bang, you're okay. All right, guys, so thank you for watching. I hope this helped you. It's everything over there, and you can use oscilloscope, and I can give you more details about that. This time I'm using my Vantage Ultra, and I'm gonna show what the oscilloscope wants you to do. And I'm using here a Accordion vehicle identification. It's a vehicle 2004 Chevy Silverado, engine 4.3 liter VIN X. Let's see here if I got a... Alright. So we're going to engine, and we're going to Ignition Control Module and component information. I give you all the component information, which is going to be the same one that I give you in my schematic. You're going to have the A, this is the pink wire, white is the B wire, ICM control signal. The C is the black or black and white. You see they change color. And the D, this the coil control, white or white and black. So they change color, so you got to make sure of that, guys. And he tells you here where to connect it in the test. Let's go over here to signature test, and he tells you here where to connect the leads. The yellow to the AC control, which is the white wire. And it tells you what is the signal that you're going to see on the oscilloscope. So all this information is very good, but they don't got a tech note that tell you that this is being going on with the broken wire between the igniter to the coil. And then other tests that they want you to do to check the integrity of this module, it will be doing the duty cycle test, which is the duty cycle uses the connection of the EC control, which is the same wire. Okay, they don't say to the coil control, they say to the EC control, ignition control signal. So let's go to another. In the ignition test, we're going to primary, and then we're going to signature test. You see you got the coil with three connectors here. Three connectors there. That means the B is not used. Okay? Yellow go to the negative, to the white and black wire. And the signal, that's your signal there. Okay, guys? So that is oscilloscope information. Alright, guys?